of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I move to approve.
Do I have a second?
Point of order. I would like to see the agenda include board comments. It does not state that. I assume that that would always be the case, but I just wanted to make certain that we did have our opportunity to speak.
Yeah, the community has an opportunity to speak on the
I didn't say the community, I said board comments.
Oh, okay. Trustee Kelly, because that's not on the agenda?
I'm asking for it to be agendized at this time. I had to assume that it was an oversight and just a mistake because we always have our opportunity to speak to the community.
And was, as part of the Brown Act, because the reason the public comments was not on there, is that the same as the board superintendent comments?
Was took it off because it was going to be on the agenda.
Okay.
And you had asked me to take off the communications from the public, so I just took off all the comments.
Okay. Okay.
The community will have their opportunity to speak.
Yeah, Mr. Kelly, because it's not on the agenda, I cannot grant your request, and I apologize for that.
No, that's unacceptable.
And so I will ask once again for a second motion to
Well,
approve
then
the
before we
agenda.
start the meeting, then I will put this on the record because I believe it's important and you will not have you silenced.
But Mr. Kelly, you can read that at the item.
After what item?
At the item, the discussion and action item.
No, this is just more of a general comment. Dear fellow board members,
Actually, you're out of
I'm
order.
asking you each to make your choice
You're out
of
of
an
order,
election
Mr.
date this
Kelly.
morning.
You know what, you're out of order. Take a seat, and then you can read that at the action item.
We want to hear it.
We all want to hear it.
I will put it on the record after.
Please respect the process.
Okay, I'm listening to you, I'm listening to you.
Okay, all in favor to approve the agenda, say aye.
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 Nay.
All
Nay.
against, say nay.
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 Audience, please.
Okay.
We will try to operate as appropriately as we can.
We will move on
Audience
to
participation is
discussion
not
and
part of
action
that.
items. Mr. Kelly. The first action item is D1, approve, issue, and order calling for the recall election of Area 1, Area 2, and Area 4 trustees.
I move that we set the recall election date for Tuesday, September 1st, 2015.
No, wait,
Okay.
what happened to the discussion?
We will discuss right now.
Okay.
So we have a first and a second. Mr. Kelly.
Dear fellow board members, I'm asking you each to make your choice of an election date this morning based on what is best for our school district and the children we are entrusted to care for. We are still the elected trustees of this district, and we promised our community to do the best we could for their children. If the election confirms your positions as trustees, you will, of course, want the support of this community for the rest of your terms. If, however, the recall is successful in removing any of you, you will still be members of this community, and I assume you would like to put this experience behind you as quickly as possible. Stretching this process out will only serve to further alienate our community, and I'm afraid it will harm our children, as well as cause additional damage to our district. My choice for an election date is August 4th. I believe this will allow us a little time to settle into work mode before the next school year begins, and hopefully give us at least a brief opportunity for some healing. Most importantly, it should keep the children and campuses out of the campaigning. Closing out the school year will be difficult enough, with graduation, promotions, and all the other activities presided over by the board. Carrying out these duties in front of a disenchanted and possibly hostile audience is not something I'm looking forward to. Your selection of an election date should be a personal choice. In fact, if you have already agreed on a date, it is an absolute violation of the Brown Act. I am confident you have not. I have offered reasons for my date selection. I would ask each of you to explain your date choice to the community. I cannot think of any good reason to go on a later date. That does not mean reasons don't exist. So if you choose a later date, I would simply ask you to explain how you think it will benefit the district and the children that you have promised to serve. If, however, your choice is not for the benefit of our children and is some kind of political strategy, shame on you.
Thank you, Trustee Carla. Is there any further discussion by the board?
I would comment that the date within a given month is a little arbitrary, considering that for all of the years I have served as a parent, as a volunteer, as sometimes a teacher, and now as a trustee, as an educator. I think to battle over an arbitrary date and to say that we don't care about children if we don't pick the date that the recall proponents may favor, I think is not the truth. I definitely am always for children, no matter when the date is set. And I agree that this is the best date because of summer vacations, because of the beginning of starting school and all that goes involved in that. And I'm not going to get behind any arbitrary sort of decision. This needs to be a comprehensive community decision. The community spoke last November. Okay, that's it. That's all I'll say. Thank you.
Okay, Trustee Moseley, did you have any comment? Mr. Hatch, did you have any comments?
Could I ask the board to make the comment to justify? Not necessarily justify, but obviously you have a good interest and a good reason for your selection. I think the audience and the community at large deserves an explanation. I think that would be appropriate.
Trustee Kelly, at this time, I am going to turn it over to the public to discuss this particular item, and you're welcome to stand up, and please do it in order. You have, do we time that, Amy? Do they have 3 minutes on an agendized item that's an action item? Yes, okay, so everybody will have 3 minutes if you would like to speak. And I think that we will do it in the most orderly fashion, and so we will start in the front. I'm sorry.
I didn't know.
Did you want to say something, or would you like her to go ahead? Okay, go ahead. And when you stand, could you please state your name?
Sarah Tucker, Sierra View parent.
Okay.
And the only thing I'm going to ask the board to consider is what you teach your children. Look behind you, read those pillars. And understand that you're leading your children here, teaching them what to do. And so far, I have not seen that. I see that you guys can hardly look at the crowd half the time. I would like to see some respect for everybody. I would like to see that you follow your own process that you're teaching. And that's it, keeping it sweet and simple.
Thank you for your comments. Would you like to comment? Would you like? We'll go back. We'll do the center, and then we'll go to the sides. No, Virginia. Harry. Roberta. No. I'm sorry, we're back at the last table. Would you like to say something?
Sure. My name's Jim Turner, and I've lived in the ranchos since 1981, so I've seen them up and down. This is about as down as you can get. Regretfully, Ms. Crumpton came by my house initially when she ran for election, talked to my wife and I, and when I turned in and we walked away after she left, my wife says she doesn't know anything about running for school board because she doesn't even understand the basics of budgets or how to deal with people. Her main emphasis when she was at our house was she was out for one person and she was going to correct the flaws in our school district. What a shame that you start out with such a vengeance to destroy a person instead of doing the best for our community, for our kids. My children all went through Webster School and Madeira, and they are embarrassed to read and know about the three of you who have conspired together against the Brown Act to get rid of superintendent. I don't know. I have to say, maybe he was Hispanic. Was that your problem? You know? Maybe you don't care to have him in a leadership role. But did he defy you? No, he simply told you what the law says. And to get rid of him, you dismissed him. He wasn't offered really. It was either, when you go out as a superintendent, you apply for a job and it says you were terminated, you're not going to get much of a job. So all of these superintendents are offered the ability to resign. So are teachers.